a copy of. A lot of the comments referred to the crowded space we had in there. So that's one of the reasons we were considering going back to Bennett Valley. A lot of people prefer that location. It's kind of like this, it gives us more space. This would be an ideal room, but this does not have the AV accommodation that we have in the room there. So that was one of the reasons to consider the move, because of the crowded space we had. So with that, I'll get to the guest speaker. Originally scheduled to speak today was a woman who was a POW in the Philippines during World War II and subsequently written a book. However, she fell ill and could not make it today. We had our Gary Meagher, our speaker, scheduled for November. He graciously consented to speak to us today. As far as November goes, I think we're going to revert to what we've done in the past in the month of November, because it's Veterans Day and Veterans Month, so to speak. I'm going to ask any of you in the branch who are veterans, served in the military, if you would volunteer to give us a little 5-minute spiel on your experience in the military. Now, maybe we'll get 4 or 5 of you to do that. Just a little bit about how you got in there, what you thought was just your own thoughts about the military. So if any of you could agree to volunteer, let me know. I have 2 who are already volunteered. Ken Johnson and Ken Fox, one of our new members, have volunteered to speak. So you can let me know at the end of the meeting whether or not you'd like to do that. So getting on today's speaker, our speaker is Gary Meagher. He's a native of Santa Rosa. He was voluntarily inducted into the military in 1958, became a helicopter pilot, served 2 tours in Vietnam, retired in 1974. So today he's going to entertain us a little bit, if you want to call it that, with his experiences in Vietnam and talk about his time in the military. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Gary Meagher.
I have been through the crowd, people I know in the crowd, and there's been about 8 of you out there, and I ask you only one thing. When I say something good, cheer like hell. And please, and then I'll take care of it in speech. All right, thank you. By the way, how many here going to ask you World War II? No, mine either. Okay, and Korea. Korean, okay, we got some Korean people here. And Vietnam. Lots of Vietnam. Okay. I gonna use a trite phrase. Thank you for your service. Where you had heard that, almost every good guardian in front of a military place, that's what they're up to. Thank you for your service. And I personally had to do the same. Okay? Now, let's talk about Eric. I had a friend that just recently passed who was in the Korean War. And when he got out, he had a hard time finding a job. In school, he'd been a gymnast, tumbling, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so, you know, those in Santa Rosa, you know, on every 3 months, a tent shows up out at the fairgrounds, you know, a circus of some kind. Well, he went to one of those, and he found that he could do what these clowns were doing. They were tumbling, they were having a good time, and all that good thing. He said, hey, I can do that. So he went and he got a job. 15 years, he worked for the circus. His job was to be in that one of those fancy cannons, about 100 feet into a net. He did that for 15 years. And then the doctor said, I think you've got a little concussion. So he said, I have to stop this. So he went to the manager and said, look, I've got to stop this. I have this concussion. And the manager said, oh, that's too bad. Where am I going to find a man of your caliber? As Gary said earlier, that I'm a local guy, I was born in San Francisco, but got up to Santa Rosa soon after that. Thank you. And Santa Rosa High School, that's all there was, except the Ursuline. That's the only high school we had other than the Santa Rosa High School. Since then, what have we got? 4 more high schools, 5 more high schools in the area. So nobody waited, they kept on growing. Okay. I was in National Guard. And what happened there, I'd been sick in high school. I'd been sick and came to, and it said, well, they're going to have a nice National Guard guy talk today at the auditorium. I said, well, I'll just sit there and cool because I don't feel good. I listened to the guy, next thing, not feeling good. 5 more years in the National Guard. I was attending school in San Francisco and working in an insurance company downtown. And wasn't attending enough drills the whole night. They threatened me. They said, okay, we're going to turn your name over to the board. And the board said, well, welcome, like you welcome me, they welcome me too. So I got drafted in 53. Didn't go in as I was a sergeant. I didn't go in as a sergeant. I went in as an E2. So they gave me a little bit anyway. Went to the leadership schools, and then basic training leadership schools. And then I went to Officers Candidate School, Artillery, Oklahoma. Anybody from Oklahoma? I don't blame them. They won't admit it. No, Oklahoma is a good state. Went there, and at one time I remember at Fort Ord, we did a basic training. Fort Ord, we were marching at Guns I-4 across Fort Ord, and they cleared us off at Grapeview, and in comes a big silver aircraft, a single engine aircraft, 2 people on board, land there. I said, what's the Air Force doing over here in Fort Ord? And then really, when pulled in front of me, it said U.S. Army on the side. The Army's got an aircraft. What the hell's this like? Well, later I found out they started asking for people to join the Army Aviation and check out. So when I was an OCS, I did, passed all the physicals, then got out and waited for a while, and got called in to go to, I'll get this place, Scary Air Force Base south of Austin, Texas. Does anybody remember what the city is that our good president went to? Santa Rosa wasn't that far, just about 20 miles south of Fort Austin. And then anyway, I went there, Gary Air Force Base, good over. I was taught how to fly by the Air Force. And they beat me over the head with their caps and all that. Then we got to say, those who are Air Force trained know what I'm talking about there. So when we got through there after 8 weeks, then we got transferred down to a place called Camp Rucker. It was Camp Rucker. Now it's Fort Rucker, the home of aviation, Army Aviation. At that time, it was a tank corps thing. So the people down there who were instructors, Army instructors now, took us over. These Army instructors had just returned from Korea, where they just got away with anything. They needed the O-1 aircraft, the high wing Cessna. Anyway, it's a power 200 horses in the front. But they were landing on roads, they landed up under the trees, they could do anything. And I said, kind of spoiled the military. I like that, So got to there, got assigned to Korea, and just before I went to Korea, I got married. That's another story. That's a longer story than I can tell it right now. But got to Korea, and I was there 16 months and did a lot of flying. Our job there was to grade the DMZ zone, 7,000 feet. We'd be up there for about an hour and a half, pull down another aircraft, take our place, do the same thing. In the back seat would be an observer with his glasses, observing the North Korea, the people wandering around over there, checking their airfield, all that type of thing. No problems, didn't get shot at, but I knew about it. Later in my tour there, a couple of helicopters were being shot at, even though it was peacetime. War was over, it'd been over about a year. Look, the real war. They were still shooting, but that was, I got lucky, as far as I know. In fact, one of my main things here at Gary, the word luck shows up quite a lot in me with my aviation experience. I'll get my grade. Let's see, when I left the aviation, as I said, Korea, I came back from Korea and went to helicopter school. That's where it starts getting interesting. Those who are helicopter oriented understand it's a little trickier than a fixed wing. Somebody asked me the other day, fixed wing, what's the easiest to fly? Well, definitely fixed wing, that it straightens itself out. The helicopter continues to march straight down. So got back, went to chopper school, and then they assigned me to the aviation units at Chicago. In Chicago, it was the Nikes, remember the Nikes? That they all, mothballed. Nobody knows where Nike is now anymore. But our job was to take equipment people to the different Nike sites along the beaches in Chicago. And that was interesting. That's where I had first accident. Had a number. Does anybody know a chopper? The tail rotor came off. If you have a chopper, the tail rotor comes off. You're in a dizzy spin, and you go to the ground. I was only about 300 feet off the ground to start with. And I got about a turn and a half before I went in. And it was a bubble. The aircraft is a Hiller helicopter. And the bubble just burst all over. Passenger here, the passenger there. Nobody hurt. Only hurt right here. Hurt bad. Got out of that thing, went over to a farmhouse. Oh, they came to pick me up. But when somebody nodded their head there, when you lose a tail rotor, things get real busy out there. And there's what the word luck comes out again. Didn't get hurt. I was going to night school at the time. Went to night school that night. See, crashed at about 4 in the afternoon. They picked us up in another chopper, took us in, got my car, went to night school. And to this day, I don't remember a word that was said for 3 hours. I'm still in that panic. And that lasted a couple of days. So I've had one other since then with the clutch giving out and one C20, 123, okay. Well, what happened to that I was in tour of Vietnam 2 times. First one was very, very busy. We were out in what they call combat assaults, taking troops in and out of danger and good ourselves. And that went on for about 6 months. And then because by then I was twin qualified fixed wing also. I got a job in downtown with the IMAC. Is it IMAC? DMAC headquarters. And we were flying VIP flights. So I got all over Korea, Vietnam with those flights. Because we lined up about 4 of these L-23s. That is the Super Cub, not the Super Cub, but the twin, Beechcraft twin. And we lined up, and there would be the VIPs up there, and you pick them up, take them wherever they want to go in country. I missed Martha Ray by 1 aircraft. She's, I don't know, her, she was a nurse initially, and she had a relative up country, so they took her to wherever she needed to go at that time. I flew both helicopters, Hueys, as well as I got another story, very small. I saved the life of General Westmoreland 3 times. Landing safely. So, but they didn't give no medals. Damn, I stood in line too, but I had to leave. They were too early to get it. Anyway, to this day, though, he never writes. Well, he's gone now anyway, but he's a good guy. He was, he took it in the shorts in Vietnam. I'll tell you that. It wasn't his fault. It was a lot of other people's fault. I'm not going to get into politics. We're going to be here all day, and everyone had an idea. And that. Anyway, that was the end of my first tour. Came back, got assigned to the Presidio. That's great. And Christie Field. Does anybody know where Christie Field used to be? Underneath the, yeah, okay. Well, I was assigned there as the operations officer and signing things around. We floated around and flew out of there. Took the 6th Army headquarters CIPs to wherever they wanted to go in the Western states. I was there about 1.5 years, and then Miss Tet, those who were in Vietnam, didn't they get Tet? Anybody? You were, well, I missed it, thank you. I'm glad you took my place, by the way. Thank you, John. Anyway, I missed that, so I went back to the second tour. This time I was assigned to a tactical operations center at the Trang for I-Corps. And I was assigning 400 aircraft to the needs with 400 aircraft. Did that for day on, day off, day on, day off. Trying to get out of there, wouldn't let me, day on, day off. So I spent a whole year at the tactical operations center. Came back, and it was time within 3 years of retirement. And they were going to assign me to the East Coast. I said, I don't know about this. I went to somebody I knew, and I said, look, I'm going to retire in 3 years. I don't want to retire in the East because I'm going to live right here in Santa Rosa. So he said, okay, well, we're done. So he assigned me, he got me an assignment to the Inspector General's office. And so I spent about 18 months traveling in the Western states. And our job there was to inspect armories and National Guard armories, and especially their arms lockers, because they were getting thefts. There were more weapons being stolen at all times, and nothing got trapped. Nobody found anybody that we know about anyway. But there was an awful lot of weapons taken out of these armories, so that was our job to make sure. That is a weapon we have. Well, if you remember, World War I, we had horses and tanks. World War II, the Jeep was with it. You devise a Jeep. And in Korea, the evacuation mass hospital. But in Korea, in Vietnam, it was a Huey helicopter. Nobody was sure that it wasn't walking out and on the horizon. It was 44 over tops going up. Or noises we get top down. And we hoped and we wished that the enemy also could hear it and not know where they were going next. Okay, here we are. 9 left. You got seven back there. The troops are going here, they loaded up, they got everything there, they got their water, the boxes and everything going. Now, you must remember, the problem she said, well, you can't fire out that way. You can't fire to the right, to the left. To the right, okay. You can't fire to the left. Anyway, good thing I wasn't flying out of it. Anyway, so everybody here said, you can't fire your weapon, because there are good people here. They have people on that side. So you'll take care of that George Floyd. You'll take care of whatever over there. And so you get along, you go a little bit along the deck, and I don't know, and also bring a fire from this side. At that time, you stuff like I've seen a lot of werewolf in pieces because that behind was in shotgun or a rifle, and it was it is the first guy who was hit the second one in life. I was second, and there's more getting hit us in the street. And so here we go. I don't know it. The slot gun go. You leadership. You have the expert who they're affected. You so you can the troops. You don't have to pay for the troops. No, they're out there. If you're 3 feet there, they're out there. They don't get shot. But here you are 6 foot, 10 foot up in the air. And you're over. Where you go? You take off that side. We're down there, won't go. So then as you can add almost a balloon vehicle is good. Let's go back to a score. When Army Nation was first built, it was because I think here that the Air Force was too worried about secret, higher, and faster. And forgot that this guy had found the story. And we found that the guards said, okay, we got support our own. So we built the helicopter with the machine guns and also gunships, the stuff. I get a Huey enter for this talk, but it will let you have one out there for me at the museum. What hurts is that there's a Huey out here and it's an H-34, which is a big chopper, which I'm an inspector. I'm a pilot for it. I said, well, here's all the stuff in the museum. What am I doing out here? And every year we go out, have a meeting out there or something like that. A lucky, yeah. Okay, so you mentioned that, 2 shots gone. Now you're going to go someplace. So you were within your shot, or within communication, in case those guys didn't go. It happens every time. They get in trouble, so this whole lot that's circle around saying information. Then just take information, come in and pick those rooms up. Day one, real nasty occasion. We land in a price tag, a little permit, 2.5 feet. And the troops got the okay to take the village, go to the village, and get rid of that as village. They never left that where we got. They were still there. We were out airborne and away, and we got calls to come back. Pick up these guys here on the fire. We get more and everything else. Here we come, in there. Last night, we made a football aircraft was over here. I was number 2 aircraft there. And my troops, this guy gave us like a fireball. We got ran over down the aircraft over there. Unloaded all the ammunition and weapons. Carried back. People were here. They staggered and come back. They went back and forth. Fortunately, I said, everybody okay, let's go. And we're ready to go. And meanwhile, we're being fired from that building. There's out in the parking lot. I mean, weapons, crazy coming across the anyway, not out here in the Huey is a first aid. The mouse at first aid, like snow, it's like, a lot of window here, and put a shot on my car. He was pretty movie, I said, oh, no, he was going to anyway, here we go, take it off, we picked up everything we could on the ground, and didn't do it. That burned one thing, I remember, I'm 6 foot in the air, the man, the burned, he's going, get down, I'm up here in the air drive, get in the air drive, you're gonna stay here, so we got him out there, and bad thing, we got the 4 air, we get one for both, and the rest just Meagher here, with the wild mission here, and Branch17, everything else. I'm thinking about it, it brings up too many things, so sorry about the late time. But one other time I got out there, right about there, back there, you see fuel in a pot. It's covered with lead, of course, but it's a rubber pot. It will tear around straight up through it, run the cool, and we'll go. But in my case, it hit the corner, I swear, out on the car. It took off the corner, and the fuel was just flowing out. And I'm picking up people, taking it to another area, and I look at it, gas station. Just go like that. So lucky enough, we got big back to the compound, and the guys in the compound running around. I said, maybe, fire something down there. I'm coming in, came in, and it didn't blow up, and it took about another 3 or 4 minutes. All the fuels out of the back. Nobody was hurt. Even the 7 troops that got on board, we were a long ways. They didn't take a chance to it. The guys on the ground saw the chemical spray going back over the engine like that, and nothing much. Like that, snatch word. Definitely, I was there. Nothing. That particular round, I said, anywhere here. I swear he was short. That little guy, I told him that. No longer. These rounds, he's short back. If I've been a little taller, I would all the other different. Maybe I wouldn't look. I don't know. But anyway, you guys have done a beautiful job. Sorry I had to leave it out there. Thank you. Who was talking about Missy Field? Somebody mentioned it.
Who did?
Missy Field, I'm in rich. No, small. A little lake there and all that. But I'll thank you.
So, when you landed, you had to come in and close over the Golden Gate Bridge and then seriously drop down.
Well, it's east, yes. And we didn't see the field. He just came to the toll gate. When he got back to the toll gate, and he dropped here, drop here down, and then dropped down into the field. It's about 30, I think it was 3,028, 1,300 feet. Not a lot of runway there. So, most of the time, I think 90% of the time, we go about twice the bridge, between twice the bridge and head around. So, I feel more field than in flying now, any place, even in Vietnam. So, but we did a good job. Get that aircraft up there. You remember that, don't you? Did you come in that way?
No, I used to see them sometimes come in. I mean, they would come in and literally just drop.
Yeah, you didn't see
Because
the
they weren't going through the bridge.
we didn't do that at all. No. We were in the, on the bridge, right there. It was 7,700 feet. Okay, just 7,752 feet, I think it is. But we won't, yes.
Put a station directly under the bridge. It'll be the first office you would see as you get in.
Yeah, holding nothing.
Very close.
Well, that was civil part. Who's it for?
If you listen to that, I'll go stream every time. There's 3 things I remember. Ask, hear, yes. I appreciate it all. Let's see. Okay, here, come on. I was just feel, I was just feel, as I think no longer in sight. Is there any questions other than ones I already did?
You retired at
You
retired at what rank?
And again, in fact, we can't stop that. To have the military office association, I'm a member of that organization too. We meet in the other room, other 2 rooms down there. And I don't know, I listened to what you said about, I don't know where I'm going to all listen to this real more. I was well, I'm going to talk about data. And not for an acquaintance. He was 101 years old, that's way out of 2 weeks old. And he was asked, when he was 100, he would ask, what's the goal of your longevity? And he says, about what 6 months told me that with the red cereal, you should have a pinch of gunpowder. Pinch. So for 85 years, he had pinch gunpowder. He used his red cereal, and he passed away at 101. And when he left the good earth, he left 3 children, and 8 grandchildren, and a 16-foot hole in the inventory. Thank you, Uncle.